Okay, this has to be the last time recording this demo. So just getting to a point where I can start to actually animate and store keys and edit things properly now, so I can move things around. I can, if I use my gizmo tool here, I can retime stuff. It's kind of behaving now. I'm storing Euler rotations by default now, which is useful for animation. But let me kind of show how I did this from scratch. So I'm going to go Files and do Clear Scene twice. It should be popping up an extra dialog to say, are you sure? That's why you have to press it twice to make it clear out. Okay, so just make sure we're back on frame 0, close the animation editor. All right, so go back into the Bones tool, go into draw mode, make sure snap plane is active so that it'll snap onto the center plane here. I'm just going to do a quick little skeleton. So I'm going to go hips, knee, foot, like that, and then clear it with my A button. And then I'll work up the spine. Oops, but undo. Make sure I'm getting it right. So you can see how the symmetry plane highlights when I'm on the axis properly. Although, why have I got a snap thing like that? Let's just do that again from scratch to be safe. 2, 3, 4. That's about the amount of joints in a spine, surely. Yeah, that'll do. Let's make this where the shoulders come out. That, and we're done. Beautiful. So little things that I've added, which I think I mentioned last time, is you can show lengths. So this is handy just to make sure that, say that the upper and lower arm are about the same length. If you want to tweak it, you can go into the tweak mode. So this will just let you adjust an individual thing. So they're now about roughly the same length, more or less. The upper and lower thigh should be a bit longer, so maybe like 21 and 20. It's, yeah, sure. Remember from film Pretty Woman, where they said that the length of the lower arm is the same as your foot. So if that's 17, I'll make this 17. There we are. Thanks, Julia Roberts. So now I can turn off all these extra displays, or turn off length. And I'm going to use this Make Skin tool. So I've improved this a bit now. So if I press this, see we've got a skin. Oh, that's a bit weird. I'm going to undo that and bring up the capsules. So it tries to follow the size of these capsules. So you can change this with the radius mode. So I'm going to make these calves a little bit thinner, like that. So my thinking was, in the way that the way clay sculptors will make a wire armature first, and then just put a thin bunch of clay on it to start sculpting. This is kind of the same idea. So you can just sort of get this roughly how you want, and then go Make Skin, and we'll try and conform to those capsules. The mesh itself, if I go to another tool for a sec, turn the wireframe, you can see that what it's doing is it's making a little subdivided sphere cube on each joint, and then it's just trying to sort of extrude the closest surface on each, so it joins up into a single surface. So it's worked better than I thought it would. So especially if I smooth it down a touch. I don't know why my smooth brush isn't showing, but it's kind of there more or less. So we go to the Move tool. Yeah, there's definitely a bug at the moment where it's not showing my sphere for highlighting, but we'll go with it. So you can just tweak this as you want. Again, it's just a basic placeholder because I'm lazy. Go back into the Bones tool, and I'm going to bind it. So now you can see this is bound. If I want to see the weights, this shows you how the colors are transferring. If anything isn't right, you can adjust it by turning on capsules and change the radius. So the radius here also affects the binding. So you can see this color change here. So the blue is having more of an influence up and down the arm there. So that's handy just when you get, like, especially for big sort of fat shapes. Let's make that one a bit bigger. Cool. So now we've got our bound skin. So we can turn off weights, turn off capsules. So now we're back into our regular skeleton. So when you want to animate this, you can go to IK mode just to preview. So this is FBIK, so you can drag things around like this. It's, fun but useless. Let's go back to the bind pose. Really what you want to do, I always have to remember to make this smaller so that it fits in the recording, is you want to use pins. So the A button, when you press onto joints, will add pins. So when it's blue, it's purely translation. If I press it again, it becomes red, which is a translation and rotation pin. So now if I grab the hips, you can see that's sort of behaving. And you can see that because you can do both translation and rotation at the same time, it feels really nice. So this IK button in the it's only really good just for sort of previewing. If you want to actually keyframe, you got to just put this back to the bind pose, going to get out of bones and into either the grab or transform. So grab should be the same as what you've just seen, but for some reason it's not working. I think it's related to why I can't see my sphere indicator for the radius, but I know transform is working. So this is the same. So again, you get like sort of pre-selection highlighting. I've got a built-in priorities sort of selection mode. So pins always first priority. I made a little addition for VR that if you grab it by the center, and as long as you have free rotate turned on, you can also rotate this transform gizmo. So it's a nice sort of catch-all tool. And also when you bind a mesh, it'll be made unselectable. So that's in the outliner. If I collapse up the hierarchy, you can see if I go to the skin, I get this padlock to show that that can't be selected, which is quite useful. But anyway, let's go back to the transform tool. So now that this is kind of ready to go, I can bring up the animation tool, which is this guy here. I'm going to put that back there so you can see it while I'm doing stuff. And as long as auto is turned on, just as I move the timeline, this will be setting keys. So you can see I've got a key there for bone 00, which is the root. And I'm going to maybe get this guy. Normally I'd be closer, but I'm trying to keep it all in view for you. So I might do that, and I'm going to turn the hips this way a bit. Turn this one this way a bit. And then I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to kick the leg where you missed the center of it. Like that. And I'll turn the hips like that, and keep that one there. So now I can look at that. Amazing. And then going to go maybe back down to that key. So I'm going to turn off this translate tool. So I'm just going to grab all those keys, press the B key, which brings up this marking menu. I can copy, I can paste it down over here. And then I'm going to over here, I'll turn the hips the other way, lock these down just by tapping them, and then do another, lift this one up. Missed the thing. This is so bad when it's small. What you can do as well, because I found it was getting difficult to choose this gizmo sometimes, is the thumbstick will change the size of the gizmo, which is handy. So I put that there. I'll turn them that way like that. And I'll just give a little nudge to that one there. And then put him back to his default pose. So I grab those keys, copy, and paste it over here. There we are, amazing. Again, why aren't Pixar calling me? Someone asked, what's my kind of intent? What's my purpose with this? I don't know. I'm just having fun. This makes me laugh. I thought I had some ideas for doing animation and FBIK, so I thought I would give it a go. Oh, you can also bring up the graph editor. So if I go to, say, if I tap on the bone thing back there and go to the graph mode, you can see all these graphs. So I've got separate modes now for the translate, rotate, and scale. So if I go to the translate tool, I can just expose only the translate Y. Oops. And I think this will fit the graph like that. Yep. And then I can turn on tangents. It is already on. So I can grab that key and I can try and sort of round that off at the start and end. So it's a bit more smooth over the cycle. Yeah, that kind of works. So yeah, it's still a work in progress. There's no intent apart from just me finding this interesting. Yeah, I'll keep playing with this.